Do you ever notice how some people hold on to hate like it's their lifeline? Like it's the only thing keeping them going? Oh yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They resent you. They despise you. And as time passes, that fire of hatred doesn't burn out, grows. Hate is a heavy thing to carry. It's like a weight strapped to your back, making every step harder, every breath shorter. But here's the thing. You're not the one carrying it. They are. That person who hates you with all their life, especially as the years go by, they are the ones bearing the weight of their own resentment. And the more they hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. When a person hates you, it's not just a fleeting emotion. It's a commitment. They wake up with it, they go to sleep with it, and they feed it every single day. It consumes their thoughts, their energy, their peace. They replay old memories, twist new ones, and convince themselves that their hate is justified. They let it dictate how they see you, how they speak about you, how they react to your presence, even when you're not around. It becomes their obsession, their fuel, their excuse for why they are the way they are. But what they fail to realize is that hate is self-destructive. It doesn't weaken the person it's directed at. It weakens the person carrying it. They think their hatred of you is some form of power, something they can use against you. But all it's doing is corroding them from the inside out. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Over time, it affects their mind, their heart, even their body. It hardens them. It makes them bitter. It isolates them from joy, from peace, from the very things they claim they want. And you're out there living your life. You're growing, you're evolving, you're becoming stronger, wiser, better. You've got dreams to chase, goals to accomplish, and people who love you. You don't have time to sit around and worry about why they feel the way they do. But them? Oh, they have plenty of time. In fact, they make time. They make time to resent you. They make time to watch your every move, to criticize your every step. They are so caught up in their hatred that they don't even realize how much of their life is being wasted. See, when people hate you, they think they're punishing you. They think their anger, their bitterness, their refusal to let go is somehow making your life harder. But in reality, they're the ones suffering. You're not the one losing sleep at night. You're not the one carrying that emotional baggage everywhere you go. You're not the one allowing resentment to dictate your happiness. They are. And the sad part, most of them don't even realize it. It gets worse as they get older, because the years go by and nothing changes. The same hate they had in their heart 10, 20 years ago, it's still there. Only now, it's heavier. Now it's mixed with regret. Now it's filled with the pain of lost time, missed opportunities, and a life that could have been lived differently. But instead of facing that truth, instead of admitting that their hate has only harmed them, they double down. They convince themselves that they were right all along, that holding onto that resentment was the right choice, that you're still the problem, even when you've moved on. And that's the tragedy of it all. Hate blinds people. It keeps them trapped in a cycle of negativity, in a prison of their own making. They can't see past their emotions. They can't break free from their own bitterness. They think they're holding you down, but really, they're just sinking deeper themselves. As someone rises, someone else often feels the weight of their own failure. When you succeed, when you climb higher, when you're making moves and reaching milestones, it serves as a mirror to someone who feels stuck, left behind, or incapable. And in their mind, the source of their discomfort, their jealousy, or their frustration is you. It's the fact that you made it when they couldn't. It's the fact that you are walking the path they believe they should have been on. Your success, your growth, reminds them of their own struggles and their own perceived limitations. It's a painful thing to watch someone achieve the very thing you've dreamed about. And that pain often manifests in a negative way. For some people, it leads to resentment. Instead of congratulating you for your efforts, they lash out, speaking down about your accomplishments. They downplay your achievements, make excuses, or act like you don't deserve it. This behavior isn't a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their inability to handle their own feelings of inadequacy. The higher you rise, the more your success challenges their perception of themselves. If you're climbing the ladder of life and they're stuck at the bottom, it's not that they hate you personally, it's that they hate the reality your success represents. They hate what it reveals about their own situation. It's a bitter pill to swallow when you've given your all, yet you're still in the same place, while someone else, someone they perhaps thought was no different from them, seems to have it all. As the years go by, this feeling intensifies. Time becomes a factor. The older they get, the more they realize the opportunities they've missed, the chances they've let slip through their fingers. And then they look at you, at your accomplishments, and the resentment only deepens. Your success becomes the constant reminder of their lost time. Every milestone you hit is another failure they see in their own life. So instead of using your journey as motivation, instead of seeing it as proof that it's possible for them too, they allow it to fuel their bitterness. It's not always conscious. Often it's a silent internal struggle that manifests as outward hostility. They may not even recognize the root of their feelings, but deep down, they know your success represents something they couldn't achieve. It represents a path they either didn't take or couldn't follow. It represents everything they still desire but feel they'll never get. And here's the thing, while they're focused on you, while they're wrapped up in your growth, you're continuing to build. You're focused on your journey, on what's ahead. Their resentment doesn't change anything about your path. It doesn't change your goals, your progress, or your future. It just keeps them locked in a cage of jealousy and frustration. They want to tear you down because your success makes them feel small. But what they fail to realize is that no matter how much they try to drag you down, it won't affect your climb. You can't stop moving forward because someone else feels threatened. You can't slow down your progress to appease their insecurities. You can't stop achieving just because it makes them uncomfortable. Your success isn't meant to hurt them. It's meant to inspire. It's meant to show them that they too can rise, but only if they let go of their bitterness and focus on their own growth. When you become strong, when you start succeeding in ways that others couldn't have imagined, it shines a light on something they may not be ready to face, their own weakness. They don't want to confront the fact that you're doing things they never thought possible, that you're handling challenges they couldn't overcome. That instead of being inspired by your strength, they see it as a reminder of their own limitations, their own doubts, and their own fears. There's an uncomfortable truth that many people don't want to admit, but it's there. Strength in others often reveals the weakness within themselves. When someone sees you stand tall, when they see you refuse to back down or let life knock you out, it forces them to look inward. It forces them to face the things they've been avoiding. Whether that's the pain of their own failures, their inability to push through tough times, or their fear of what they could achieve if they dared to believe in themselves. The truth is, strength is intimidating. It's uncomfortable to be around someone who exudes confidence, who walks through life with a sense of purpose. It makes people question themselves. They start wondering, why don't I have that strength? What's wrong with me that I can't do the same things? And when those questions arise, instead of looking for ways to build their own strength, they often look for ways to tear you down. It's easier to criticize, to judge, to belittle someone who is strong than it is to face the fact that your own weakness is a barrier to your growth. What makes this even harder to stomach is that your strength serves as a constant reminder to them of what they could have been. It doesn't matter if you never rubbed it in their face, never made a show of your success or your inner fortitude. Simply by existing in your strength, you force them to confront their own lack of it. And when they're not ready to face their own vulnerabilities, when they haven't done the work to build their own inner fortitude, they start to hate the thing that makes you different. They resent the power you have because it reflects everything they feel they don't. But here's the truth. They have a choice. They can look at your strength as a challenge to rise, to push themselves, to find their own courage and resilience. They can use your strength as fuel to ignite their own journey. Or they can hold on to that resentment, allowing it to consume them, turning it into a form of hatred that only drags them further down. The difference between the two paths is the choice they make. And too often they choose to stay stuck in their bitterness instead of using your strength to fuel their own. When someone is weak, they see strong people as a threat. It's not a threat to their safety, but to their sense of identity, to their fragile perception of what they're capable of. Your strength challenges everything they've believed about themselves. It makes them question why they've allowed themselves to stay in a place of fear, of indecision, of self-doubt. And rather than face those uncomfortable truths, they'd rather focus on trying to break you down, to make you feel like you don't deserve the strength you've built. But no matter how they try to undermine your strength, it won't weaken you. The more they try to tear you down, the more your inner resolve becomes like steel. It's a testament to the fact that strength comes from within, from the experiences that shaped you, the battles you fought, and the lessons you've learned. You've earned that strength through persistence, through not giving up when it would have been easier to quit. And while they might resent it, while they might attempt to diminish it, the truth is that your strength is yours alone. No one can take it from you. When you're faced with hate or negativity from others, the natural instinct is often to respond, to defend yourself, to engage with their hostility in some way. But here's the truth: don't feed it. When people lash out at you, when they try to drag you down with their bitterness, responding to it only gives it power. It's like throwing fuel on a fire. The more you engage, the more that fire grows, and before you know it, you're consumed by something that was never your fight to begin with. So what do you do instead? You rise above it. You stay focused on your goals, on your path. You keep pushing forward, undeterred by the negativity around you. Because the reality is, the more you allow someone else's hatred to affect you, the more control you give them over your life. They don't deserve that power. They don't deserve to dictate your actions or your emotions. You've got bigger things to focus on. The key here is to realize that negativity is a reflection of the person giving it, not of the person receiving it. When someone is constantly trying to tear you down, it says more about their insecurities, their unresolved issues, and their inability to find peace within themselves than it does about you. When you stop engaging with their negativity, you stop giving them the ability to project their issues onto you. You stop allowing their drama to interfere with your peace of mind. It's a form of self-preservation. People who are bitter or resentful are often trapped in their own negative cycle. They've chosen to live in a space where they feed on that anger, that jealousy, or that resentment. But you don't have to live in that space with them. You can choose to stay out of it. You can choose to refuse to give their negativity any more space in your life. And the more you refuse to feed into it, the less power it has over you. Don't get me wrong, there will be times when you want to retaliate, when you want to say something that cuts deep, when you feel like standing up for yourself is the only way to make them see how wrong they are. But when you do that, you're only lowering yourself to their level. You're only getting caught in the trap they've set for you. Instead of stooping to their level, rise above it. Keep your dignity. Keep your integrity. The more you remain above the fray, the more you become untouchable. You become the kind of person who doesn't let others dictate their emotions or actions. This is where true strength lies, within your ability to stay calm, to stay focused, to rise above the negativity rather than getting pulled into it. It's easy to get swept up in someone else's storm, but real power is in standing firm in your own peace. It's in being unshaken, unbothered, and unmovable in the face of adversity. You don't have to let them win by dragging you down into their negativity. Instead, you can show them that you've moved past it, that you've grown beyond their petty attempts to bring you down. The more you rise above the negativity, the stronger you become. The more you refuse to feed into the cycle of hate and resentment, the more you elevate yourself to a place where their words, their actions, and their bitterness have no impact on your life. You're no longer bound by their issues. You're no longer affected by their hatred. You're too focused on what's ahead to let anything or anyone hold you back. By choosing not to engage with their hate, you free yourself. You free your mind. You free your energy. You give yourself the freedom to focus on the things that truly matter: your growth, your happiness, and your peace. Because at the end of the day, your peace is non-negotiable. No one should have the power to steal that from you. And the best way to protect it is by not feeding into negativity when it comes your way. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools you can ever have in your life. It's not just a gift you give to others, it's a gift you give to yourself. But let's get something clear. Forgiveness doesn't mean you let people off the hook for what they did to you. It doesn't mean you erase the hurt, the pain, or the betrayal. It doesn't mean you act like it didn't matter. Forgiveness, at its core, is about freeing yourself from the weight of that hurt. It's about letting go of the control that someone else's actions have over your peace, your happiness, and your future. When someone hates you, when they've wronged you, when they've hurt you, it's easy to hold on to that anger, that resentment. It feels justifiable. You feel like it's right to be angry, to not forgive. And for a time, it might even feel like holding on to that bitterness gives you control. But in reality, all it does is keep you stuck. It keeps you emotionally chained to that person, to that event, to that pain. And as long as you hold on to that hurt, it continues to have power over you. Forgiveness is not about excusing their behavior. It's not about saying what they did was okay. It's about acknowledging that you are not going to let them dictate your life anymore. You're not going to let their actions, their hatred, or their lack of accountability control your future. You're going to release the emotional hold they have on you and take back your peace. Think about it this way. When you hold on to anger and resentment, you're allowing someone else to live rent-free in your mind. You're giving them a space to dwell in your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy. But when you forgive, you evict them. You take away their power over you. You say, I am not going to let what you did to me keep me stuck. I'm not going to let your hatred steal my joy. I'm moving on, and I'm not dragging your bitterness with me. It's a powerful moment when you choose forgiveness. It's a declaration of your own strength, your own growth. It's you saying that you are in control of your emotions, your life, your destiny. You're not going to let someone else's darkness overshadow your light. You're not going to let their unresolved issues dictate the quality of your life. Forgiveness is your way of saying, I'm not going to allow your actions to define my happiness. Now, this doesn't mean forgiveness is easy. It's not. It's hard, it's messy, and sometimes it's a process. It might take time, and that's okay. But understand that the longer you hold on to unforgiveness, the more you're hurting yourself. You might think you're punishing them by holding on to your anger, but in reality, you're only punishing yourself. It's like holding on to a hot coal and expecting the other person to get burned. The only one who suffers is you. Forgiveness is about choosing peace over pain. It's about choosing your happiness over your hurt. It's about reclaiming the power that someone else tried to take from you. You don't need their apology to forgive them. You don't need their acknowledgement of their wrongs. Forgiveness is for you. It's for your heart, your mind, your spirit. It's about giving yourself the freedom to heal, to move forward, and to grow. And here's the kicker. You might never get the apology you're waiting for. You might never get the closure you think you deserve. But that's okay. You don't need it. Because forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about your ability to let go of what's holding you back, to release the chains of anger and resentment that are preventing you from fully living. When you forgive, you take back your power. You show that you are stronger than their hate, stronger than their bitterness. You demonstrate that you won't be held captive by their actions. You are not defined by what they did to you. You are defined by how you respond. And the greatest response is forgiveness. It's the ultimate act of emotional freedom. As you navigate through life, there will always be people who try to drag you down, who try to hold you back, who might even try to break your spirit. But here's the truth you need to embrace. Their hate doesn't define your destiny. They may throw stones, they may talk behind your back, they may even try to sabotage your progress, but none of it can stop you unless you allow it to. And the moment you decide that nothing at all is going to stop you from moving forward, you take control of your future. When someone's hatred, jealousy, or bitterness is aimed at you, it's easy to feel like the world is against you. It's easy to think that the obstacles they create will be the ones that derail your success, that they will somehow hold you back from the dreams and goals you're working towards. But here's the thing. Their hate is powerless if you choose to keep moving. Think about it for a moment. Every step you take forward, no matter how small, is a step closer to your goals. Every challenge you face, every barrier you overcome, every obstacle they put in your path is another opportunity for you to prove your resilience, your strength, your ability to rise above it all. Their hatred will only slow you down if you let it. But if you keep moving, if you stay focused on your goals, then their hatred becomes irrelevant. It has no power over you. Sometimes, the best response to their negativity is simply to keep going. Don't let their words or their actions pull you off course. Don't let their bitterness create doubt in your mind. The more you focus on your goals, the less impact their hatred will have. Every moment you spend thinking about their negativity is a moment you've taken away from building the future you want. Your destiny is not tied to their feelings about you. Your future is not controlled by their actions or opinions. It's in your hands. Every decision you make, every choice you take, moves you one step closer to the life you're creating. And the more you rise above their attempts to bring you down, the more you show them that their hate doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard they try to hold you back, how much they talk about you, or how much they wish for your downfall. You hide, you refuse to bow down, you hide, you refuse to bow down. They cannot stop what's meant for you. Your journey is yours alone. You have a purpose, a mission, a vision for your life, and no one else can take that from you. You've been through too much, overcome too much, and fought too hard to let anyone, no matter how much they hate you, stop you from reaching the heights you were meant to reach. Keep moving, keep progressing, keep thriving, because that's what they never expected. They never expected you to keep going when they tried to stop you. They never expected you to rise higher when they wanted to pull you down. Remember this. Every time you move forward in the face of adversity, every time you reach for your dreams despite the hate that's aimed at you, you are proving your strength. You are proving that nothing, no person, no challenge, no amount of hatred can keep you from your destiny. The world might throw obstacles in your way, but if you keep moving, if you stay focused on what's ahead, you will reach where you're meant to go. Their hate won't stop you, their bitterness won't stop you, their words won't stop you. You are the only one who has the power to stop yourself. So don't let them. Keep moving. Keep believing in yourself. Keep walking that path, because in the end, you are the one who gets to decide what your future looks like.